I would love to know if you often find yourself getting super excited about making changes to finally get organized. You might find yourself feeling stressed out and overwhelmed, and then you finally come to the end of your rope and you just want to throw your hands up and say, screw it, something needs to change. So then you spend time laying out this whole big plan on how your life is going to look now that you are making these changes. You decide when you're going to get up in the morning, when you're going to the gym. You are going to have home cooked meals on the table every night. This time, it is going to work until it doesn't. The first few days are absolutely amazing. You feel like you have your life finally figured out. You're getting enough sleep, your house is staying clean, you're even enjoying cooking each night. Then something happens. Either the dog gets sick, someone backs into your car, your dentist appointment takes longer than you planned. But once something throws a wrench into your perfectly laid out plans, everything just crumbles. And then it's done. So, this story might be an exaggeration or maybe 100% spot on and may have actually happened to me in the past. But if you find yourself in a situation like this, either one time or over and over again, I want you to know that there is still hope because I'm going to share with you something that hopefully gives you some encouragement because you can get your life in order and it's not as exhausting as you think. It's just important to know where to start.
Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renee Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast.
I wanted to share with you 4 reasons why doing one routine, just one, will help you be more consistent, even if you've never been consistent before. Because the story that I was talking about in the intro, what's happening when we try to do all of this and we try and lay out our plans and we try and get everything in order and everything just falls apart when this happens is because we're trying to do too much too quickly. And that might feel like common sense, but so many of us have a strong desire to change and to get our life feeling more organized that we do take on way too much. And it prevents us from being able to actually make the changes that we want. So, in this game of life, we really want to go slow. This is where, like that story of going slow, like the turtle or the tortoise and the hare, and going slow actually wins the race. This is exactly that situation because we need to focus on just one thing at a time. And you might feel like everything is falling apart and you don't have the ability to just focus on one thing because everything needs attention. But I want to encourage you that life doesn't have to just stop. Like you can keep doing what you can do. But when you're focusing on making big changes, you want to really start with one area first. And that is why I love routines because what we're doing is we're taking one big area and we are condensing it into what our priorities are. And we're making a short and simple routine to get that completed in a short period of time. So it's not overwhelming and it does allow you to be consistent. So I do have 4 reasons why starting with one routine will help you. And just kind of a side note here, this is why I teach on the 5 routines is they are called the first routines because I think that they are the 5 most important ones to begin because they cover all different areas of life. And when you have these 5 in place, you do feel really put together. So, the important thing though is that I have them in an order that allows you to get one thing in place first. And I don't want you to start all 5 at one time. I want you to begin with just one. And if you have been here for a while, you know my one that I'm going to recommend first, and that is your morning routine. And the reason I do your morning routine is because it allows you to just do so much in a short period of time and just get you in the right mindset to tackle your day. It allows quiet time. It allows you to review your schedule. It allows you to get any priorities in, to get movement or exercise in. It allows you to spend time in prayer or get into your Bible. It allows you to do whatever is important to you. Maybe it's just a quiet cup of coffee. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it is a phone call with a friend because you have no other time to do that. Anything that is important to you, you can do right away in the morning, or just do what you need in order to be able to show up for others that day as the best version of yourself. And that is why that is my favorite. So I strongly encourage you to pick a routine that you can just focus on, that one routine, and focus on trying to be consistent with the one. And the four reasons why one is going to help you is because number one, it allows you to start small, because in that story, we are beginning too much at once. So, focusing and picking just one routine allows you to start very small so that when something does come up and throws a wrench in things, it doesn't overwhelm you. It's okay. And you can just keep focusing on just that one thing and maintaining that throughout your days, because it isn't going to be your entire life falling apart and crumbling when something comes up that was not planned. The second reason is that it's going to allow you to set the groundwork, which is building your foundation. Because once you have this one routine really honed in and kind of I don't want to say perfected because it's never going to be perfect, but perfected for you in this season of life because they will change. But when you have one routine that is really, really solid, it allows you to have that foundation, which then you can build on. And then once you have one in place, then you can choose what the next routine is that you want to get in place. And now you start working on that one. And then you'll have two in place that are really solid. And then you move to your third if you want to add a third in. But having that first one in place first helps you to set the foundation in order to build the others so that you have the foundation so things don't crumble when they fall apart. Like the whole, you know, what is it? Three Little Pigs? I'm blanking. The Three Little Pigs story where it's like the sticks and the stones and the bricks and all of that, or the straw. Is it straw? A straw house? Like you want to set the foundation really solidly so that when things come tearing through, you're going to be okay. The third reason is that, like I said, when everything falls apart, you can just go back to that foundation and reset, and you still know exactly what to do to keep going. So, in this instance, if you are focusing on your morning routine, and you are living life and each morning you get up and you have your things that you do and you're feeling really great as you begin your day each morning, and then something happens where you can't do it and something just totally throws a wrench into your life and you can't keep up with that morning routine. Well, what happens, 3 days later after not being able to do it, all of a sudden you're feeling stressed, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling like just everything is chaos around you. Well, guess what? You have your routine as a backup. You know exactly what you need to do to feel really, really great in the mornings. So all you have to do is just begin again. And it's not stressful, it's not hard. You're not restructuring your entire day, you're not restructuring your entire life. All you have to do is carve out, you know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it was for you, but all you have to do is carve that time out in the morning and just be intentional about a routine. But that is all you have to do to reset your mindset in the morning and to get what you need in. You don't have to worry about changing your entire life. You just have to go back to begin your morning routine again. And as soon as you do that, you're going to start feeling the peace of having that routine in place and getting what you need right away in the morning. And that is the crazy thing about routines, but also having them in place and having them really solid before you move on to the next one, because that is what is going to help you build that consistency. And the fourth reason is that when you focus on just one, It allows you to really think about what you're doing in that routine, and then you're practicing it over and over and over and over and over and over each day. And the focus is not to make it perfect, but it's allowing us to learn what is working and what is not working. And when something is not working, we're not throwing away the routine. It's not like, "Oh, I failed at this routine. I can't do this. It's not working for me." What you need to do is keep practicing and realize, like, what needs to change? This is where I'm always talking about testing and tweaking. If you build a morning routine that you really love, but it's an hour and you get all these things in there, and it is an amazing morning routine. It makes you feel really good, but you do it, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. And by the fifth day, you're really crunching it in there and you're not sure if you can get the full hour. So then you kind of skip it one day because it's like, I just can't commit an hour to your morning routine. So you skip it. Well, then you feel crummy all day long. So instead, let's adjust and say, okay, if I can't fit in a full hour, can I do 45 minutes? If I can't do 45 minutes, can I do 30 minutes? And if that's the case, what can I do? What are my priorities? Like, what is going to make me feel the absolute best when I show up for myself in the morning? What do I need right away in the morning to be able to have the best day possible? And just tweak it because it doesn't have to be exactly as it needs to be in the beginning when you plan it all out. Because by focusing on just one, it allows you to keep practicing and keep testing and keep tweaking until you discover what works best for you. And in that process, you're also changing your mindset because your mindset is not that you couldn't stick to your plan and now you're failing. What is changing is that now you are learning what works for you and what doesn't. And by the end of it, you're going to realize that you have a really solid morning routine that maybe doesn't look the same every single morning, but you are committed to showing up for yourself in the mornings and doing what you need to have done in order to show up for your best self that day. And that might look like a 5-minute sit down with a cup of coffee and out on the deck and just breathing in the fresh air because that is all you have time for that morning, but you are committed to doing it. And maybe on some days you actually have a lot of time. It's a quiet house. You can brew yourself a big pot of coffee and make yourself a latte, whatever you need to do. And you can journal and you can pray and you can get a workout in and you can do all these things because you have time for it. That's okay too. It does not have to look the exact same way. But what you're allowing yourself to do is to practice it over and over, test and tweak, and be able to commit to doing a routine and showing up for yourself in that time frame with whatever you need in that time frame. Now, with other routines, it might look a little bit different, where it might be something a little bit more structured. But the morning routine is something that has a lot more flexibility and a lot more flow to it. And I love that as being able to get the first one in place because that's also going to affect your mindset for the rest of the day. That's why I absolutely love your morning routine as your first one. But that is just my thoughts on why it is so important to start with just one routine, because I think that will help you be more consistent. Even if you are like the story in the intro where that is happening to you all the time and it's really hard and you've never been able to be consistent for more than a couple of weeks at a time, this is what is going to help you change the game for that, is to just focus on one routine because you're going to be able to make those changes. And if you need help and you need accountability, come into the Facebook community and tell us what you're trying to do because we are there to encourage you, to back you up, to help give you some ideas if you need them. Let us know what you need because that is what we're there for. Take advantage of us and get in there. Just let us know how you need help and how you need support. So, a really quick recap for those 4 reasons to start just one routine first that will help you be more consistent, even if you've never been consistent before, is number one, it allows you to start small. It is okay to not do it all right away, and it's good not to do it all right away. Number two is it helps you build the solid foundation that you can then add more routines on later once you are ready. Number three, when life gets overwhelming, you have a solid routine to fall back on that will help you get back on track. And number four, it will help you learn what works for you and what doesn't. And it allows you to learn how to test and tweak to figure out what works for you in this season of life because it will change as we live our lives. Things are going to shift, and this allows you to learn how to shift with that. So I hope this was encouraging for you. I hope you found some hope in this if you are struggling with consistency. I hope that you really take this to heart and figure out what you are going to focus on first and take some time with that. Give yourself some time and be okay with just focusing on one routine first and really getting that honed in because that is where you're going to have the most success before you build on another routine. And like I said, if you want support, I can't talk. If you want some support, come and join us in the Facebook community. It is at facebook.com/groups/the routine advantage community. You can also find that link and all the links for contacting us in the show notes. And that is all I have for you today. I will see you on the next episode. Take care.
Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.